Coming at you live from DNHQ, beautiful South Baskin, California. This is the Blue Heaven Podcast. For now, what is going on, Dodgers Nation? My name is Clint. You can find me as Real FRG on the Twitter, on the Instagram, and you are now home with Dodgers Nation and Jim Beam. Please drink responsibly. This guy drinks responsibly all the time. That is Doug McCain, DMac_LA on the Twitter, on the Instagram, in your hearts, in your mama's DMs. Doug, how you doing, my guy? It feels like it's been 1,000 years since we've done a show together.
It's been way too long, Mr. Pasillas. I'm excited. The postseason's on the horizon. Just got a couple of loose ends we got to tie up before then. Got a postseason roster ahead of us. Exciting times, nervous times. Right now, about 4 heart attacks during that NLDS, but the time is now. The postseason it's upon us. Right around the corner.
It's like a heart attack, and we also got DJ producer Noah on the board. What's going on, Mr. Cameras?
Well,
it's at Noah Cameras
I'm having
on Twitter.
a great time. Dave Roberts said the Dodgers are going to have they're opening their workouts to the public next week while they're off.
That'd be pretty cool.
Have some fans at the game watching them kind of perform. Maybe get a little juice flowing before the postseason.
We love juice.
That's really fun.
I like that.
We love juice.
That's really fun.
Probably have more fans than the Marlins game.
It is. Hey, did we man? Did you?
I did.
Okay. I don't know. Time has no
It was
meaning.
really loud in my ears.
I mean, that follows suit with something Andrew was talking about recently. Something, I think it was just Andrew, but he did a chat with the fellas over on the Sportsnet LA, and he said like they're going to try to find a way to add more stakes to their workout, to their practice, and maybe that's it, opening the doors of that. And it's literally free money for the Dodgers. I hope they make it free, but concessions is going to make them.
It's only open to season ticket holders, so it's probably just going to be free for them.
Well, that's also so cool.
Then they'll have concessions. So yeah, they'll make money off of
So
that.
make friends with your season ticket holder friends.
I think it's a great idea. I really do. I think it shows that they're learning from last year, and at least they're trying something different. And they look stale. They look complacent coming out of the gates. And I think changing it up, playing in front of fans, hearing those cheers, they're going to want to be at their best. And I think really it's more important to have better roster construction and hitters up and down this line that I think are better equipped to have postseason success. But, hey, it doesn't hurt to try this out. And I think that they'll have their juices flowing a little sooner than they did last year.
Speaking of, we are going to talk about the postseason roster because that seems to be all we do these days, and it's fun. It's fun, even though we know what the roster is going to look like, but it's a little bit different, so we got to know. That'll be the question we ask today.
Could be a curveball.
Cooperstown curveball?
Cooperstown curve.
Who are going to be the odd man out? Because there are 2 spots that need to be cut. One position player, one pitcher needs to be cut. Has Sheehan done enough to be Emmett Sheehan done enough to be the guy who makes the postseason roster on the pitcher side? And just generally, there's going to be some tough conversations and tough NLDS roster questions ahead for this team. And overall, I want people's thoughts on the biggest postseason concerns, because one would assume it's pitching, but maybe it's not pitching. So we'll have some fun with it and, just sort of play around. But first, I got to remind folks, we did hit our goal, 70,000 subscribers. So we thank you so much for subscribing. We do have another one coming up. I don't know when. I think we're going to try to start one for the postseason, but things are wild. But we do. We haven't heard from Kevin yet. Kevin Harmon, come get get it.
Come get that
comment
jersey.
on this video. Comment on the other video. We also tagged him in the community page. If we don't hear from Kevin by Sunday night, the next stream we have on Monday, we're going to have to pick a different winner.
Yeah. So
Kevin Harmon. What was it?
Kevin Harmon 6191. Comment somewhere on the YouTube.
Break his leg.
Email us podcast@DodgersNation.com.
Probably hang out with Danny Duffy and Cole Hamels. I mean, where's this guy?
I was trying to give real information there. That's okay.
Did you hear the joke?
Oh yeah,
but did you hear the joke?
Go for the real information.
I mean, email us at podcast@DodgersNation.com or comment on any of those videos. Make sure that you claim it, because if not, like Clint said, Sunday night, we will be ready to pick a new winner for Monday's stream.
And if somebody is emailing us, we're going to have to verify. We'll have to go through steps to verify that it is the person, because we do want to give this jersey away, and we want to give it away to the correct person. And if it's not the correct person, the person that won first, we will find somebody that is willing to watch and
I'll be Kevin
listen
for that authentic jersey.
Bet.
It can't go to you, dude.
It can't? Okay.
No. It can't go to you.
Hey, Noah, why don't you tell us a little bit about our friends over at Mojo?
Oh, I got some good stuff to say. Let me just find the right camera there. There she is.
Hello, Mojo.
Oh, I'm short here. All right, guys. So
you got to find a middle ground.
Here's the thing. So Mojo Fantasy app, Apple App Store. Use the code DN2023 when you deposit. Use the link in the description below for you to, be, go through us. And we're going to be doing some really fun giveaways, some really fun profit boosts during the postseason. Stuff like if Mookie Betts hits a home run, they're giving away money. Maybe something like whoever does the best over the course can win more than $1,000. We're kind of playing with the different things right now. We're also hopefully going to be doing a Mookie Betts signed jersey giveaway. So all you need to do is download the Mojo Fantasy app with our link in the description below.
In the description.
And then when you deposit your first whatever you want to do, DN2023 is the code you use. You'll get 100% deposit match. That means if you put up to $100, you'll get another 100. That's 200. So if you do those two things, we'll be able to see that you are with us. And then any kind of giveaways or profit boosts that they give through us, you will be entered into. So there's no reason to not. There's a Thursday Night Football contest tonight, which is kind of a good way to get familiar with the app. And then, next week when the playoffs start, there's going to be tons of things, even for the wild card round when the Dodgers won't be playing. So highly recommend you get involved. It's going to be a ton of fun. Let me get that canner right there.
Mojo, again, the link is in the description. Tell the fine people a little bit more about Mojo there, Doug.
Mojo's a great app. It's a great game. It's essential for all baseball fans, sports fans in general. Keeps you locked in. You just get a deeper understanding of the players and the stats and the numbers. I can't live without Mojo.
Gotta have my
it's
Mojo,
like oxygen to me. It's oxygen, Mojo, Dodger
if
baseball.
You want to be
those
Austin
are my
Powers
essentials.
And you want to support us, you get that Mojo app using that link in the description and our promo code, because all those really help to tell the people that you're listening to us. Unlike Kevin, doesn't want to come get his damn Mookie Betts jersey. But let's talk about Dodgers baseball. It's been a minute since we started, so let's talk about the Dodgers baseball. Hey, creeping up on another 100-win season. Look at us now.
Another 100-win season.
What was your prediction again?
I had 97, so I was rooting against them all week for sure. No, but look.
Come on, James.
Come on, James. Couple more home runs. But yeah, I mean, that's a testament to this organization, the depth. I mean, if I told you at the beginning of the season that they're going to be approaching a 100-win season, when you consider
I would have called you crazy
rookies,
as hell.
You called me insane. You called me a liar to my face. But this is an organization that they have depth. They know how to win the regular season. They know how to game plan. So it's basically, I think this is a organizational accomplishment more than anything else. I think Dave Roberts gets a ton of credit for this success. And look, at the end of the day, you look at Dave Roberts' success, right? I mean, 2017, 100-win season. 2019, they set a franchise record, 106 wins. You look at the 2020 season, 43 wins. They would have won well over 100 games. They're on pace to win 116 games. Then 2021, you get another 100-win season, 2022. And then this year, if you have another 100-win season, you're talking about 5 already. Only 2 managers have 6. And yeah, it just goes to show that Dave Roberts is truly on a Hall of Fame trajectory. But yeah, I think this year feels more special just because of everything this team has dealt with, from the injuries, off the field stuff, and just being able to go out there every single day and win ball games. I've had a great time watching this team.
And such a seismic shift from what Dodger fans had known for years. It was Cody Bellinger's team. It was Justin Turner's team. And these two dudes are gone. On the pitching side, just changes going on there. Like you mentioned, the rookies. There's so many changes that happen. Off-season, you bring in Miguel Rojas. You take an absolute flyer. I like the way Jason Hayward said it. He took a trust fall with the team, and they caught him. David Peralta, that one was kind of the sneaky out of nowhere. Do we really want this guy on our team? He's beat us for so many years, and everything just really fell into place. I don't think that anybody anticipated it working out this way, but a lot of things went really right. And I agree with Dave, who just, by the way, congrats, won career win number 750, picked that up this week, which it's insane to think that this guy is now in, year 8?
It's unbelievable. I mean, it's just so consistent. It's so sustainable. And for everyone who says, okay, fire Dave Roberts, just watch. If they ever do that, if they ever gets replaced, that first 80-win season for that next manager, hey, you're going to miss Dave Roberts. The grass is not always greener. And I think he upholds a culture, and he gives confidence to his guys. And I think Dave Roberts has said himself, this has been his favorite year and his favorite group.
And I like, I think you were at the game when Dave talked about, I forget what the hell it was, but it was along the lines of he sees what the fan says. He stopped caring about that. He knows what his job is, what his role is. And everybody knows what that role is. It's about the culture, especially in the year of our Lord, 200,000 and whatever, 23. Maybe not that. That would be a lot. It'd be a long way in the future. We'll all be dead. We'll be fossils. But still.
Yeah, and here's the thing about Dave Roberts.
It's such a different climate to have to manage through these egos and stuff.
And it's such a unique challenge that he had ahead of him, because you have a lot of veterans. I mean, not just any veterans. We're talking about Hall of Famers. We're talking about multi-time All-Stars.
Egos on this clubhouse, in this clubhouse in particular.
And I think
everybody
that
bought in so
these
early. Veterans
embrace the young talent. They embraced the James Outman. They embraced all these young pitchers. And I think what I've always said about Dave Roberts, he just has to be the David Goggins of baseball, right? Just motivate these guys, get them hyped, get them ready to play every single day. Everything else will take care of themselves. And also factor in the balanced schedule this year. You had a balanced schedule, so you can't go out there and say, oh, it was a weak division. They just beat up on NL West opponents. So, yes, it's nice. Division titles are nice, and it's definitely a fine accomplishment to win 10 division titles in 11 seasons, but we know how Dodgers fans are out there. We know the standard is the standard, and that this team will ultimately be judged by what they do in October, but still give this team a ton of credit. Look, this is an organization that never won consecutive seasons making it to the postseason. Okay, we lived through the lean years. We lived through Frank Rupp and that generation, right?
Yeah, we did.
This is just, I pinch myself. This is the golden age of Dodger baseball when it comes to sustained excellence, and you got to give this organization a ton of credit that in their transition year, in their down year, they ran away with the division, and 2 are on the cusp of winning 100 games. A great accomplishment for this organization, but hey, let's go win the piece of metal. Let's go win it all. I think that's what's the most important.
Give us that piece of metal. And I would say this is a year that, we've seen it in doing these streams for the last, I've been doing them. This is year 6 or whatever. This is year 5 for you doing these things. You're definitely seeing fewer fire Dave Roberts in the comments. Yeah, they're there. They're always going to be there. And some folks just understand it's fun for us. We have a good time with them. I think Dave enjoys to see them here and there, but this was the season where he proved that, so many people can say, well, yeah, when you have that kind of roster. He didn't have that roster. Yeah, when you have Mookie and Freddie at the top, you can get away with a lot. Will Smith in his first half, but they didn't know what JD Martinez was going to be, what version they were going to get, and all that kind of stuff. And to get everybody buying in the way they did, that starts at the top. That starts with the culture, and that culture's on
absolutely
a good amount.
Anytime I ask any of these rookies, hey, what does it like to play for Dave Roberts? There's zero hesitation. I love this guy. He was great. I was talking to Dalton Rushing yesterday, and he was telling me a story where that it was his first trip to Dodger Stadium. Yeah, it was his first trip to Dodger Stadium, and Dave Roberts had never met him, and he was doing BP and this and that, and Dalton Rushing was talking about how his routine is just trying to hit the ball solid during BP, and Dave Roberts told him to try to hit a couple over the fence to just kind of mess with him and just see how hard he could hit the ball and slug, and that kind of put him at ease and kind of let him know that he is able to create unique relationships with each of his players. Yeah. And I think that is such a skill. Like I said, these other intangible benefits, you can never learn, right? You can't learn. I've seen a lot of people out there. I've never seen anyone command a room or a clubhouse quite like Dave Roberts. His energy is infectious. It does rub off on his players. But hey, with that all said and done, reality is, he's in the same breath as a Walter Austin. He is in the same breath as a Tommy Lasorda. I think he just needs that other World Series. I've always said he needs to win 2 World Series to really win 1 for this franchise. But I think that this year is going to be a year where they could surprise some folks and make some noise in the postseason, hopefully get that done.
Guys, we got a lot of good comments. Really fun stream already in the comments.
Hey, put that microphone closer to your face.
My bad, guys. You guys can hear me now?
Yeah.
BC said,
I'll be back.
Next milestone, 100K subscribers. I agree with that, BC. We also got Alondra and Cleto said, I used to get notifications when you guys went live. I don't know what happened. Glad I found the stream. Make sure you have that notification bell hit.
That notification
hit that
bell.
Subscribe and that notification bell. Then you will know when we go live. We also got, I'll wait till Clint gets back for this. Anthony Keene says, Robert's got to win Manager of the Year. No? Who else? Doug, what do you say?
I think absolutely. I think it's always tough because the perception outside is that they are so stacked. They have so much talent. I see a comment right here that says from Scotty B. Pimpin. By the way, fantastic name right there over on YouTube. He says Dodgers is a Lambo. Other teams are Hondas. Anyone can coach the Dodgers. Yeah, they might be true. They might be a Lambo, but the person driving that Lambo is a lot of 16-year-olds that just got their driver's license, just got their permit with all these rookies. You can't
dangerous.
Tell me that it was easy to give confidence to each of these rookies out there and to be able to have this success. So I absolutely 1,000% disagree with that. You can't just throw any manager into that situation. I actually asked Dalton Rushing this yesterday. I said, hey, how important is a manager? I mean, because it's not like it's a Sean McVay or a Kyle Shanahan, you're a 49ers fan, Noah, that is calling plays, right?
Throw him under the bus.
That's calling plays and this and that, right? But it's not like it's that situation. He told me it's of the utmost important. It couldn't be even any more important because you're with them every single day. And baseball is the sport of failure. Baseball is a sport where if you get a hit 3 out of 10 times, you're a Hall of Famer. So you're having a lot of failure. And I think, look at Max Muncy last year, the lows he had, the Chris Taylor lows. He sticks with his guys. And it usually gets to the point where it's like, okay, how much longer are we going to stick with this guy? And then you see Dave's arm around them, and then suddenly they'll break through and have more success. So, yeah, we go all day about Doc, but I definitely think he's the right guy for this job.
On Dalton Rushing, too. He's also played, for John Shoemaker, another great manager down at the single-A level. And the team, especially somebody like Andrew Friedman, he's never just going to give credit to just himself, just to Dave, just to the people at the big league, on the big league coaching staff. It's everybody. It is the entire organization that makes these players into the men they become on the field. Yeah. So it's
really quickly, 2 more quick comments. First one is I posed a question on Twitter. Is this the Dodgers' most impressive runs? Make sure you follow Dodgers Nation on Twitter/X. And Evan Sedja said 4 important starting pitchers injured or gone. 11 different rookies used $150 million off the playbook. You don't have to correct Evan. Not even expected to win the division, and now 2 wins away from 100. This has been a massively impressive season. Best offense in years, too. I love that point from Evan over on Twitter. And then also one more quick thing.
I don't know why we're still going to do the dance.
It's really loud in my ears. I don't know if that's the same for you guys. I might have to fix something.
You can turn down the number 2.
Super chat from Mr. Michael Carrillo, $2. This Fergie as an opener idea isn't working. What are your thoughts on that? Go ahead.
We got to dive into that one more in depth for sure.
Yeah, we got more to talk about on that, and I guess let's lead into the official topic number 1 of the show, but it kind of has to do with that, and they're still figuring out some things with this postseason roster, even though most of the things, most everything seems to be set in place. And entering September, one of the questions was, which of these rookies is it just going to be Bobby Miller on the postseason, in the postseason rotation, even on the postseason staff, pitching staff? Now we flash forward 28 days later, it could be 3. You have the argument to make 4 if you want to throw somebody like Gavin Stone in there, which let's just say no. But we're seeing really, really good stuff out of Emmett Sheehan, and I want you to riff on Emmett Sheehan a good bit. But we're seeing a lot of swing and miss, which we assumed he would in a bullpen role, but we're seeing a lot of swing and miss out of Michael Grove right now. And the idea of one of those guys not being on the roster and Caleb Ferguson, who is a very good major league pitcher, but is he, as as Andrew Friedman said when they clinched the postseason, the idea was they're going to take their 13 best pitchers, and those are going to be the staff that gets all the outs. Is Caleb Ferguson one of those 13 best pitchers? And I mean, that's a question he has to ask himself, honestly, too. It's like, yeah, he's a very, very good major league pitcher. Is he one of the best on the staff, or are you setting yourself up at a disadvantage just to get somebody like him on the roster over Emmett Sheehan, who shoved in Colorado? Ryan Pepio shoved in Colorado. Michael Grove has shoved in Colorado. We know the one lock is Bobby Miller, but has Sheehan done enough to get that final spot?
I think there's no doubt about this point. I mean, Emmett Sheehan, he's had some rough starts, but last night, I mean, you're talking about pitching at Coors Field and having the success that he had. It's a second solid start there. I mean, he was phenomenal, goes 6 innings, allowed 5 hits, 2 runs, had 10 punch outs, had a career high 9 strikeouts in his last outing before that against the Giants. And you're talking about the only damage being done is solo shots. And you can give up a couple of solo home runs with the offense that you have. And that's what was so impressive about these rookies was they not only had great success, you had it at Coors Field. I always say pitching at Coors Field is like bowling with the bumpers on, right? It's like basically you have Super Smash Bros. And everyone has the hammer, right? And to go there and have that success, it was impressive. And I think for Emmett Sheehan, if you look at the way he's built up, I think it's really a conversation between Emmett Sheehan and Michael Grove. Because, yeah, could you make the case that the way that Caleb Ferguson's pitched in the last month or so, does he deserve to be on this roster? Maybe not, right? And we're going to talk about him in a second here. But I think that the most important thing is he's a lefty, right? And you definitely are probably going to see 3 lefties outside of Clayton Kershaw on this postseason roster with Kershaw and Yarbrough and Vesia and Ferguson. But Sheehan, what he brings to the table, I mean, you saw a disgusting changeup down in the zone. You had slider, swing and miss that you get the chase, and then fastball up in the zone, and then you're getting fastballs, them taking fastballs bottom of the zone. So we've seen in the postseason, not only if you have nasty stuff, but if you can work up in the zone, all 4 quadrants, that's what he has. I think for him, the big question for all these guys is command. Can you deliver in the postseason when the lights are bright? I still think where you are, and Dave said it after his last start at Dodger Stadium, that he probably has the most explosive fastball in the organization. Yeah. So you're not going to leave the most explosive fastball in this organization off your postseason roster. So I think there's no doubt about it. Emmett Sheehan is 100% a lock. Kind of gives you some Jerry Royce vibes from back in the day. So carries on that Dodgers legacy. And I think that, yeah, there's no doubt about it. You got to go with Emmett Sheehan.
Where does Grove fit in this?
See, the thing about Grove, the difference is basically, I think it really comes down to Emmett Sheehan and Michael Grove at that last bubble spot. And the thing about Grove,
which is saying in so many words, Caleb Ferguson's a lock.
Yeah, I think look,
which in reality, it's sports are what have you done for me lately, but also what have you done throughout your career. And Caleb Ferguson has absolutely earned this opportunity. You think back, it's crazy how long Caleb, and we'll let you get back on Grove, but how long he's been, with this team at the big league level, and the devastating injury, him blowing out his elbow during the 20 season where he missed out on all of that fun, all of that excitement. And then again, you also look, hey, maybe the team needed that, whatever the hell it was, but I don't think he would be okay with being left off the postseason roster. But it also could be just depending on which teams they play, what the lineups are going to look like, all that kind of stuff. But him being left-handed definitely gives him an advantage. But
yeah, I mean, look, I think it depends on. I mean, you got Yelich top of the lineup against the Brewers, for example, in a situation like that, and I think that we've seen Michael Grove in situations where he's had issues serving up the long ball, right? Giving up home runs. Yeah. I do think stuff-wise, Michael Grove is very impressive. I would have liked to see him back a little earlier than he was to see if he can do this for longer. But yeah, make no mistake about it. This is a guy that's added cutter. You can get out lefties. This is a guy that has a 12-6 curveball that's nice. His slider has gotten better. The velocity on the fastball is explosive. I think you're not seeing as much spin, as much as deception as some of the other starters, some of the other young rookies. But I still think that Michael Grove versus Caleb Ferguson is more of a conversation, not about who has the best stuff. It's about how they're going to be used. And I think Caleb Ferguson, he opened the game, 7th time of the season. He was used as an opener, 3rd time in the last 7 games. The numbers aren't pretty. I mean, he's still yet to have a clean inning in any of those starts. He's allergic to clean innings when he's been an opener lately. And you look at,
apparently I'm allergic.
You're allergic to me, apparently. But no, but I mean, look at that Tuesday. I mean, this is the concern, Clint, because it's a short series, right? And you throw Caleb Ferguson in one of those games. If you have those same results, then that's a big red flag, because Tuesday he allowed just 2 runs, but 6. And before Tuesday, he allowed just 2 runs in 6 innings, despite having those 11 base runners. So that tells me the whip is high, and that means he's pitching with traffic on the base pass. He allowed a walk, a single, a double. 2 of the first 3 batters he faced, all 3 of them scored, the last coming on a single to Montero. So that's the big issue. And also, if you look at the swing and miss, he's gotten just 1 swinging strike in 18 pitches that inning. But for September, the strikeout rate was almost 39%. So I think what they're going to do, Clint, is you're going to see Caleb Ferguson. I think Pepio has earned the right to be a starter, but I think you'll see possibly a Caleb Ferguson go out there, get those first 3 outs, and you're basically getting some free outs, right? And then you're setting up the next guy in a Ryan Pepio to come in there, and you can go deeper in the game, and you don't have to face the top of the order. So I think it makes sense from that standpoint. I think you're going to see them play the matchups up and down. It kind of depends on who they're going to face in that first round. But yeah, Caleb Ferguson is a guy that he's got stuff that plays up. You're probably going to want another lefty for matchup purposes, and I don't anticipate him being left off this roster because they've had this plan in place for using him in these situations.
Yeah. I mean,
that's not bad. You guys keep doing your thing.
I agree with your sentiment, your statement about you would like to have seen Grove back a little bit sooner, give you more optionality, or just having more eyes on him. Ultimately, buttoning it up, it's a good problem to have for this team. We thought entering September, hey, they're not going to have a lot of guys ready to go. This is going to be a piecemeal rotation rotation, even pitching staff where you didn't know outside of your number one and your closer and a few bullpen guys. You didn't really know what it was gonna look like. But now things came together.
Say they want to play the splits, but I think they're going to want to play the matchups when push comes to shove. Don't you think?
I think so.
Yeah.
I mean, ultimately, that's what this team likes to come back to anyways.
Exactly. I think you guys...
I thought you guys were done. I thought it was done. I was trying to jump in right there.
No, I just think, look.
It will be.
No, jump in.
No, you finish.
No, jump in. I would just jump in.
There we go. Surprise!
There you
go.
We're all done with the craziness now.
You guys didn't see that coming, but we got a super
chat.
Let's go.
We also have a lot of comments I want to read, but really quickly, the super chat. Anthony Keene, $10. Thank you, Anthony. Said, shout out to the PCL champ OKC Dodgers. Foreshadowing, maybe?
All Dodgers, all championship fall. Let's go.
Big ups.
Quick comments from the Caleb Ferguson talk. Francisco Verhan said, yeah, Dodgers need to stop trusting Ferguson. He's not it. Dog Days said, both bullpen setup lefties are volatile. Ferguson and Alex Vesia.
Yeah.
Oh, excuse me. Carnivorous lunar activity choking on. He said, loving this pitching staff, but can they hold up against playoff competition? So people are definitely kind of worried about that.
We are talking about guys who set career highs and strikeouts against the 100-loss Rockies.
Yeah, have to absolutely consider the competition there for sure.
A few more quick ones. Max Effort said, Sheehan has it figured out. Dog Days said, F the lefty-lefty matchup. Our lefty pitchers are too bad to play into those, so forget the splits. Just go, into the righty-lefties. And Diane Schroeder says, Ferguson is not an opener. She also said to smash the like button, so a little bit of both.
But here's the thing, though. I just want to make a point, though.
A little bit of Hornito shot taker.
Hornito.
Match that like button, and I just want everybody to be aware. Doug has product on the table to do a shoey with.
I'm not. Hey. Look, you know what?
Let's just say a few more super chats and
I did promise an NL West championship.
How many super chats have we had?
Chewy.
We've had 2. We probably need a few more.
I did promise an NL West championship Chewy. But
if we get to how many super chats
total?
Say 10 super chats. He's gonna do a shoey.
10.
I'll get you a shoey, but I just want to say
one person. No, I don't know if that's legally sanctioned.
Yeah,
you get one person sending like $8 more. 8 times.
Whatever works. Whatever works.
But yeah, I was just kind of responding to the comments down below about Ferguson being an opener. I mean, I think a lot about this stuff. When I wake up at 3:30 in the morning. No, but look,
4 a.m. club.
The thing about Ferguson though is, Clint, I see people. Yeah, I don't want to see him as an opener, right? But if you have him as an opener, he gives up 3 runs. Would you rather him give up those 3 runs in the first inning
what I've said.
or the 7th or 8th inning, right?
I promise you, that's what I've been saying on this show for a couple of weeks.
It's logical. Makes the most sense.
If they're going to have him on the roster, which they will, they 100% will, because we've seen this team do this in the past with like Dylan Floro. He didn't make the NLDS roster in 20, and then it became a whole thing. But then he ended up, being so massively important down the stretch. Whatever happens in the first round, it might not matter when you're talking about second and third round and all that. Third round being World Series. He's going to be 100% on this roster or on the pitching staff. And if you're able to kind of get him out of the way, I feel a lot more comfortable with that than him coming in with bases loaded or 2 or 3 people on and then it becoming a problem. And also, I'm sorry I said that because we're getting closer to Shoey country.
Shoey Ohtani?
I got bad news. We're getting close.
We're getting close.
People want to see a Shoey. We got $9.99 from Jeremy said Shoey. And then Alondra Anacleto, who also was trouble finding initially, so I'm glad she made it in. Or he.
Thank you.
First super chat ever. Thank you, Alondra.
Thank you for hanging out with us. Appreciate you.
So, Doug, we're getting close to.
She added after $4.99 for the postseason shots.
For the postseason shots.
Brought to you by Jim Beam and Hornitos.
Hornitos. Postseason shots out of a shoe.
Because listen, we all know Doug. Everybody in this room right now knows Doug. If he's gonna open a perfectly good beer, pour a little bit in there, and then he's just gonna put it on the floor, and then it's never gonna be touched. So if you want,
and then he'll blame Buddy. And then he'll blame Buddy.
Just pour a little bit of my Hornitos in your shoe.
I'm gonna get hella lit. But no, look.
I mean, we have Thursday Night Football to watch.
Yeah, Thursday Night Football.
You're gonna be here all night.
So is that the consensus here?
Johnny Owens says, by the way, give me Kyle Hurt all day.
Yeah,
facts.
I mean, look, I'm not saying that this is how I would construct it. I think this is how they will construct it. Right?
That's an important fact.
I mean,
this is not what a lot of the Ferguson thing is not what we would do.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's an interesting strategy.
What would you do?
Me personally, I would definitely go with the live
WWBD.
arms. I would go with Kyle Hurt in that situation. I think you look at the live arms. I still think I would keep. I still think that pretty much the other rookies I would keep. I think Michael Grove is someone who I think the stuff does play up, but I don't have complete confidence in him. I'm definitely happy with the strides that he's made. I think at the end of the day, the postseason pitching roster is going to be Bobby Miller, Clayton Kershaw, Ryan Pepio, Ryan Yarbrough, Ryan Brazier, River Ryan, Nolan Ryan, Ryan Reynolds, Ryan Seacrest. No, but Evan Phillips, Lance Lynn, Shelby Miller, Alex Vesia. And then you got 10, Joe Kelly, 11, Brusdar Graterol, Caleb Ferguson at 12, and then Emmett Sheehan. Not that that's any order particular.
That's crazy. He just kind of pulled that out of his...
I just think that's what's going to be. That's what the one that's been... I think it's going to be the one this organization goes with. I think Alex Vesia, he takes a lot of heat. There's no doubt about it. But the results have pretty much been there, especially in lower leverage situations. I think the ones I'm most excited about, though, is Evan Phillips. It's Ryan Pepio. I think Ryan Pepio is someone who is going to be an X factor. He is going to be a game changer. You can make the case right now that he's pitching as well, if not better, than Bobby Miller. I mean, that's how good Ryan Pepio has been at the moment. You're talking about 19 swings and misses, 16 coming from that changeup alone. Now his changeup is nastier than Noah's search history. And look, after missing 3 months,
type X into your browser.
Why me?
And after missing 3 months of intercostal muscle issue, he has a fresh arm. And I think that's going to be big.
You know what? He's the most. I'm going on left host.
He's the most rested. The
D-Mac's
most.
in a timeout.
You can also mute him too.
I'm doing a shoey.
Remember,
I'm doing a shoey.
You have the power.
Is D-Mac 1 or 2?
I have no idea.
I'm doing a shoey.
I think he's 1.
This shoey's so fun.
No,
that was him. That's him.
All right, now D-Mac is off the show.
We're letting Noah learn. He's having all the power. Doug is so uncomfortable. He's gonna be
What's
like,
going on, Dodgers Nation?
He's
Noah
literally
here.
still talking into the mic.
You can't hear me?
Yeah, that's the whole point about being muted.
Doug, you're muted. All right, Doug, you're out of your timeout.
Dude, Around the Horns is my favorite show, so they always mute him.
This is true.
That's fat.
Oh, with the weird alien robot
that would give me a lot of
Tony
power.
Reali? You Tony Reali?
He once quote tweeted one of my tweets before I like a couple of years ago. It was really cool.
That's big time. That's big time.
It was cool.
Respect. I'm sorry, guys. We're just having.
Hey, guys,
while
we're here.
But I mean, look, get back to Ryan Pepio. 1.85 ERA and 39 innings of work, 35 Ks, 4 walks.
Hey,
Pepio has earned a prominent role in the Dodgers October.
Noah's co-host.
Yeah, I'm Mr. Numbers.
You're Mr. Baseball Reference.
Jeremy, again, probably the same one. Honestly, can't tell if it's the same one. I think it's same Jeremy. 199 said Shohei O-D-Mac.
I saw that one.
That one's fire.
Not yet.
No, not yet. That's only 5.
Don't break it
down.
Don't break it
then
down.
we got Diane Schroeder, $10, said, you said you would do the shoey on the show today, Chuck McCain. So that's up to 6.
I did.
And then we got Grumpy45 Dino, $2, said, shout out to Noah's search history.
Shout out to Hey.
That's 7, D-Mac.
Yeah, that'll be
awesome.
That'll be off-season content.
Yeah, that will.
Also, it's clean. It's all clean. So that's just not nice, D-Mac. Just
Hey,
put him on blast for no reason.
What did I do?
No, D-Mac.
About your search
He's
history?
making me look bad. It's all clean, man.
Don't put P in that browser.
All you would see.
Okay, let's.
All right.
So
Pirates.com.
the next question I wanted to ask you is we try to get back on track. And guys, we're sorry we're being a little out there right now. We're having fun. You know, it's been a long week today.
Season's almost over.
Season's almost Jover. We're having a good time here. But Doug, I was gonna ask you, and I feel like you already kind of did it. It's like, I want you to make these people here feel better about heading into October with all the rookies and all the unknown. And like we talked a little bit about earlier today, off the camera. It's like, when has that worked in the past for teams? We've seen it, maybe not this many rookies, but we've seen it have different levels of success, different rates of success in the past. And it's not like, that maybe the unknown is a good thing to have, not having these teams seen these pitchers so much in the past.
Yeah, I think if you want to feel optimistic about this team, you tell yourself, just surrender to postseason baseball. That's what I've learned to do. Yes, you want to win every single year. That's not realistic, right? But I think you got to enjoy the entire journey of it. And I think this team, when you look at their core, I think it's a very unique blend of veterans, all-stars, future Hall of Famers, and rookies. And I think that's what makes this so exciting. You got the baby bums and you got them bums, right? You got the guys that have been here forever. So I think that what's has me most encouraged is not even the pitching side. Okay, I think there's a lot of potential there. There's a lot of upside. We can break it down all day long, but we don't know how they're going to be able to handle the bright lights of October until we see them. Even Bobby Miller, Ryan Pepe, all these guys, until they toe the slab in front of 55,000 fans at Dodger Stadium against potent lineups, we just don't know how they're going to perform. If they're even good, that's going to take this team to the next level, because this team is going to win or lose the World Series based on their offense, okay? And I can guarantee you that this offense is going to perform better than that offense that didn't show up. Did they even make the bus ride down to San Diego? Are we sure about that from last year? Because they go 5 for 34 with runners in scoring position. They hit 227 as a team with the 704 OPS. I can guarantee you, I don't care who they play in the NLDS, who they play in the NLCS, they're going to put up better numbers because this roster is better. JD Martinez is better right now in the postseason than I think Justin Turner is going to be. You don't have Trace Thompson, who's basically out of the league at this point. You don't have Cody Bellinger, who forgot how to baseball last year. You don't have Max Muncy, who had a down year. Chris Taylor had a down year. And I think this team, unless it's Space Jam where Mr. Swackhammer sends the Nerd Ducks down from Moron Mountain to come steal the powers of this Dodgers lineup. Unless they get Space Jammed, they're going to score a ton of runs. And I think this offense is going to carry this team. So
does this check out, guys?
You guys like Space Jam? 90s classic, Space Jam.
I mean, I was saying earlier, unless like Space Jam comes like this.
Mr.
Swackhammer. That's a really good comp.
Thank you.
Nerd Ducks. The Nerd Ducks in Space Jam.
So I checked with my sources, buddy, over there in the corner.
All
and he
my
said
friends
that's a good.
said that.
Yeah. Also, look, I mean, look, I also want to point out this, though. Like, I think last year has everyone just absolutely PTSD'd out about what happened. I mean, Game 2, I call it the Game 2 blues, right? Game 2 in 2017 World Series. Doesn't matter if they were stealing signs. If they had still won that game, they would have won it all. Last year, Game 2, that was a historically bad game offensively. They became the first team in baseball history to have at least 15 base runners, all 9 starters reach safely, a minimum of 8 players in the lineup collecting a hit, to have a man reach in every inning and hit 3 home runs and have 3 or less runs. Okay, that is historically bad. That will not happen again. That team was tight last year. That team, I think the layoff hurt them. I love what you mentioned at the beginning of the show about having fans in the stands. I didn't know that. Yeah. So I think that's really kind of cool.
Like the fact that they're really cool. They are doing everything they can to be ready for this, because so many of those guys, they still talk about having that taste in their mouth from last year, and people that are there, they know. They said
they're not going out like punks, man.
Let them know. I also wanted to say that earlier because Doug was spitting. What do you got to say,
guys?
Diane
Schroeder is single-handedly trying to get this super.
Doug, I'm sorry.
The problem is I'm barefoot today. I'm not even wearing. Okay, no, I have shoes.
Diane Schroeder.
Yeah, Doug lies.
$5 said 8 out of 10, as in that's where we're at.
She's counting? Okay.
And then Diane Schroeder a second time, $5.
Pay off my college student.
9 out of 10. And then Grumpy 45 Dino, $2. And all our one-year guys are going to come through for us. What does that mean? D-Mac.
Well, should we time? All right.
It means
I need Diane Schroeder to pay off my student loan.
30 super chats. He'll do one out of my shoe.
Yeah, okay. Actually, that's it. Oh, and then Diane Schroeder, $5.
Let's go.
She said 10 out of 10. Now Chug Dog. It's actually
my family's gonna see
it's
this.
actually 11 out of 10.
They wanted me to be an accountant or something.
Single-handedly. D-Mac.
Right,
wait. Should I go on right host or should I stay on the 2?
Go all on him.
D-Mac.
This is to celebrate the NOS championship, the improbable championship. This Dodgers team is going to make noise this postseason. This team could win it all. This team is going to win it all. And here's the shoey to celebrate it.
Oh my God!
No,
stop!
Douglas!
Oh my God! Ew! Oh my God! Oh my God!
Why?
Oh my God!
Why did I do this?
Oh my God!
Shug McCain, Shohei Ohtani's back. Go Dodgers, baby! Oh my God! Someone take my keys. Someone take my keys.
Wait, Doug, bad news. I accidentally stopped the record button. You have to do it again.
Oh, you okay?
All right. Go back to the center. No, do it. Go back to the center camera. Noah, instant reactions to that?
Okay, anyone who ever thought that maybe it wasn't real, what D-Mac was doing, I think, first of all, it was, but second of all, that just proved all the doubters wrong because he literally just put half of that can into his shoe. That was one of the grossest things. I smell it. That was one of the grossest things I've ever seen.
Hey, how many super chats for Noah Shoey?
I would literally rather.
How many super chats? You gotta say a number though.
Literally not enough.
I can't even think of a number that would make me do
Like,
it. I would rather not ever wear shoes again.
Like he's not Howie Mandel, but he has pretty bad OCD.
Yeah,
we're both Jewish. So
honestly,
we got that.
It adds to the flavor. It adds to the flavor.
Yeah,
it's like a fungus Corona. You know,
there's not a single thing I would ever do a shoey for, literally ever. But respect to you, D-Mac.
But do you think Colton Wong should be on that postseason roster? That's the real question.
This is when I'm very seldom without words, but and I have words right now, and one of those words is disappointed.
That was insane.
That's at Doug McCain or at DMac_LA. He is a father.
Made to the game, baby.
Rumpy 458. $2.
Yeah, you got to give him a hand for following
everyone, respect to D-Mac right there. That was pretty.
My foot is wet. My foot is wet.
The hell out of that thumbs up for Doug's wet sock.
I just want to win so bad, to be honest.
It's for him. It's all for
this team.
Grumpy 458 $2 said, watching the shoe, I thought this was live leak. I don't know what that is, but it's probably something funny.
Read Jose's comment.
Yeah.
Doug can't read.
Okay. Johnny Owen said, naming my firstborn male child Doug Ken Walcott. This one's funny. He said, D-Mac put all his soul, S-O-L-E, into that.
He definitely. That's Ken. Ken. That's really good, Ken.
That's good for
because soul is soul. I get it.
Let's get back into the Dodgers. The Dodgers.
Jose said Noah's search history would make a nun faint.
No, there's nothing in that.
He uses incognito. That's why.
Come on, guys.
Carnivorous Lunar Activity says extend D-Mac. D-Mac's father says that's my son. And Edward Ramos says, D-Mac, you are the man, so you are Chase Utley. Diane says, that was epic, which I think you said.
Want to be the man, you have the
and Johnny Owen said, naming my firstborn male child, Doug.
The worst part out of all of this is that people are going to be audio-only listeners and just be very confused for the last 10 minutes.
Well, that just tells them that they should totally go to DodgersNation.com/YouTube or YouTube.com/DodgersNationTV or DodgersNation.com/BlueHeaven. Go to DodgersNation.com.
But I want to ask you, Clint, though. I mean, to me, I've been trying to talk myself into this World Series run for weeks now. And I think for me, I went back and looked at that 2020 postseason run, right? The conversation right now among Dodgers fans is, do they have enough pitching? And yes, that's always the case. You have to have pitching. But that team in 2020 had 3.42 team ERA. They were top 5 in that postseason run, but they didn't win because of pitching. They won because they absolutely raked. They let it OPS.
They won because of Corey Seager.
Corey Seager went absolutely bonkers that series.
You got to have that one guy. And that one guy, they have multiple guys that could be that one guy. With J.D. Martinez, we've seen Will Smith go off, even though he is way off right now.
Kike in 2021.
That time, Kike, definitely. That time, of course, he did that with the Red Sox. But that time between the end of the season, end of the regular season and the start of the postseason, I actually really love that for Will because that gives him some time to stay out of a game and get his timing back. They talked about it on Sports NLA pregame the other day. I think it was Jerry and D-Train. They were talking about how late Will is to getting his foot down. He's way behind on fastballs. And Dave's been talking for months about fastballs. This whole thing about the rib and all of that, that's just them blowing smoke at us right now. 100%. He's off. The timing is off. The mechanics are falling behind because of how bad the timing is right now. But I don't want to go into a whole Will Smith thing. I think Noah and I talked about it on last Thursday. So if you want to hear more about that, go ahead and listen to last Thursday's show. It's on a podcast as well.
Yeah, no, I think with Will Smith, the big key is, I think it's a great point. Rest is going to help him. Yes, there's rest versus rust. That's a debate you always going to have. But for him, it feels like this season, the longevity, it's really taking its toll on him. And I think he needs to have a little reset. We've seen that with players in the past where you have a slow end of the season and then it feels like a fresh start in the postseason. And having a fresh start for Will Smith is going to be big. But, hey, he's in 181 in September, 581 OPS, and he has to really prove that he can handle that fastball in the outer half up in the zone. That's where they're attacking Smith. And yeah, I think mechanically there are some issues as far as this is someone who doesn't expand the zone. He has a shorter compact swing where he's able to cover a lot of the plate, but he's someone who's just late. He's late on fastballs that he used to drive, and that's the big issue.
And he's hitting third. Dave says they're not going to change that. But let's take a pause because we got to talk to people about our friends at Game Time. If you're ready to talk,
I'm so ready.
I want to make sure
I'm ready.
I want to say, guys, we have exciting news for all baseball enthusiasts. Which, if you're watching us and you just suffered this man drinking booze out of a shoe, we would assume you're really here for some baseball talk. So, Doug, have you ever had hassle buying a ticket?
I have. And it's frustrating, and I hate it.
Well, we're going to take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Tell people about Game Time.
What up, Dodgers fans? Doug McCain here.
We're already past that part.
Oh, yeah.
Simply download the Game Time app, create an account, and there's a sweet part to this. You use our code DN2023. That's right. There's another very simple code. D. That's an N. That is a 2. That is a 0. That is a 2. That's a 3. For a cool $20 off your first purchase with Game Time. Terms do apply. But that's a deal you don't want to miss. Again, that is DN2023 for $20 American off of your tickets with Game Time app.
Yeah, and don't wait. Head to http://gametime.com and download the app, create your account, and remember to use the code DN2023 for your exclusive discount. Let's make some noise and support our boys in blue. You also get an extra $20 in your pocket. That's more cheer and gear for you. So definitely go over to Game Time. This is something that I use for my tickets. I think it's no hassle. You can find the best tickets at the best values late in the game. This is where you buy those tickets.
As we know, you're not just getting tickets. You're gearing up for an unforgettable experience, watching the Dodgers make some magic on the field. And like you said, extra $20 in your pocket. That's a maybe a michelada. Maybe. Game Time. Go
that's
there.
A payment on that's a payment for a michelada, like a payment. The first payment of a
down payment
on michelada.
Yeah, 100%. Thank you, Game Time, for supporting this episode of Blue Heaven Podcast. All right, let's move on real quick. Let's go to the bench. So we've talked a lot about the pitching over the last few weeks. We got to look at this Dodgers bench, and really, there's kind of one question mark. They are going to lose one guy off of this bench. Who is that guy going to be heading into September? You would assume Colton Wong is here. Colton Wong, bye-bye. But you look at everything he adds to the table. It's like, how do you find a way to fit this guy on the roster? Do you think it is a question? Could Colton Wong have found a way onto this postseason roster?
I do. I think there's a possibility that Colton Wong squeezes his way onto this roster with his play. He brings defensive versatility. He brings a 2-time Gold Glove award and someone that has played in the postseason. Hasn't been a great postseason player by any means as far as offensively. He's had his moments though, right?
He's also had his bad moments.
Yeah,
like getting picked off in a World Series game.
Getting picked off in the World Series. And look, we know that that's going to be something that it's baseball, right? It's a different year, different results. Yes. And I think the thing about Colton Wong, what makes me think that this is a possibility is I think there's a really, really good chance you're going to be matched up with that Milwaukee Brewers team. And if you have that matchup, you look at Rosario of late, I mean, he's actually hitting below average against lefties. And that is why they traded for Rosario. And you also consider that Brewers roster. Look, I mean, they use their 3 starters, and they're going to go deep into games. And you're really going to have, they're all righties. And you look at that bullpen, got a tons of righties. Their closers are righties. So do you really need someone that's a specialist to hit lefties in that series? I'm not so sure that you do. And Colton Wong is someone, of course, if they're down 6-0, we know he'll break up that game with a home run, right? So he's had some pop. The swing has looked a lot better. I think this could look like something that Andrew Freeman's adding another feather in his cap, and someone you found late, and he's eligible for the roster. I wouldn't be surprised to see Colton Wong be a hero. I mean, look at Mickey Hatcher in 1988. I mean, there's always those unsung heroes in the World Series during the postseason. It's never always going to be Freddie and Mookie in the top of your order, but he's someone who's got some pop. I think he's really trending in the right direction. I think right now, Kike is someone who
he's going to be on.
He's going to be on no matter what. They know his postseason exploits.
Or the non-starter of a conversation.
Yeah, it's not a conversation. He's going to be on that roster.
That's a good one, because that was the question I was going to ask you. Who's going to be the odd man out? And it's really kind of Rosario. You do balance out the bench a little bit more with right, left, right if you do have Colton Wong available. And we're going to go to you real soon because I want people's input on this. But in my opinion, man, like, the profile too of the swings I don't need the guy who's gonna come off the bench just to slug. Yeah, if you want the dub, you got to slug, but also give me some gap to gap power. Give me some pull side doubles from Colton Wong. He's got some speed. Yeah, Rosario's the sprint speed is elite with Ahmed Rosario, but Colton Wong is, he's not slow. He has the veteran experience, and I mean, you've seen him make some insane plays here in Colorado. He's definitely showing up and showing out and trying to say, "Put me on this roster, coach. I'm ready to play." And when you have the hardware to back up remember when the Dodgers traded for Amed Rosario, the big thing was like, yeah, this guy's defense has been booty this year, and we're not talking about good booty. It's been flat. It's been bad, and you know. You're getting a whole different aspect when you're talking about Kolten Wong. And even if it's late in the game, defensive replacement, which you're probably not going to do, it's an insanely good option to have. I don't know if there's any wrong answers or right answers here, but I like your point about bringing up Rosario. What are people saying in the chat over there, Chief?
Yeah, a lot of stuff on Kolten Wong. We got a couple puns also. Jeremy said, what could go Wong?
I think also a good part of that, deep down in the pit of my soul, I love just having this. Like, well, that went Wong.
Yeah, a lot of good ones there. Some other ones.
It's not deep enough. It's Wong enough.
All right. Matty Man 5 Dodge says Wong has 32 games in the postseason under his belt. I got Jam said Kolten Wong's got that magic swing. Emar said yes for Wong. Roman Armendari said, I predict Kolten Wong will have a walk-off hit or home run, so he has some high expectations for Wong. Craig Osterberg says, yes, defense and pinch hitting. He's a winner. So a lot of positive Kolten Wong. And then, yeah, Johnny Owen asked the question, so who do we sit? Probably has to be Amed Rosario in this situation, I assume.
Yeah, I think that's easily who you look at. I mean, there's no attachment to Rosario, who'll be gone after the season no matter what. And the reality is they traded for him to hit lefties. And since he's gotten here, has an 88 weighted runs created plus, hitting 246 against those southpaws in 36 games. So, yeah, I think that he's someone who still has potential. And you could see a situation where you see one guy in the NLDS and you don't see him in the NLCS or vice versa. I mean, I think it's important to remember that this is not a final postseason roster. It's the NLDS roster. And you see what you could get from a Kolten Wong. And I think it's a great story late in the game here. Someone you bring here. And he even talked about, I think it was on Sportsnet, or I think it was on Backstage Dodgers, where he talked about, he had a second kid and he wasn't as engaged with the Mariners mentally early on. So that tells you that this is someone who's literally 1 year removed from being a well above average offensive player, 116 weighted runs created player before he went to the Mariners. So that's still in there. It's not like we're years removed from that. No. And we've seen Jason Hayward turn it up right away. So there's magic in this Dodgers organization, I think, on the hitting side of late. It's more Robert Van Scoyoc than Dr. Mark Pryor for these reclamation projects this year, right? So yeah, I think it's very interesting. I mean, I think that Rosario was someone who could also provide a pop as well, and we were very excited about him, and people were saying that, okay, this is the steal of the trade deadline at the beginning and build a statue for Andrew Friedman, but the momentum is currently with Wong late in this one.
An important note about Kolten Wong. He's batting 1,000 in his World Series career. That's right. 1 for 1, baby. That's all I need.
1 for 1.
We got a good point here, or a good question to bring up from, Roman said I pronounced his name right, and he gave me some props. Just want to get that out there.
Good job.
Matty Man 5 Dodge said, who is going to change a game more, Wong or Rosario? On the spot. Who's changing a postseason game more, if either?
I feel like Wong with defense. Not to say, I mean, the Dodgers are they're in a very enviable spot when it comes to defense at second base, because Mookie can make some plays as well. But what we're seeing out of Kolten Wong, what you've seen out of his career, it just immediately goes there.
Yeah, I think it just depends on the situation. It does feel like Wong has the momentum, like I said a few seconds ago. But, hey, Rosario was someone who is dynamic as well. And if there's a lefty on the mound and he's up at the plate, I like his chances as well.
Also,
so,
I mean, you have Kike to be that pinch hitter against the lefty. And, I mean, like we were saying, you don't really have – I mean, maybe Jason Hayward or David Peralta if there was a lefty on the mound to start the game. But if you're kind of trying to go back and forth late in the game, you don't have that lefty option.
I love that you bring up David Peralta, because I've seen the Twitterverse saying, okay, David Peralta, he's the odd man out because he's been struggling of late. Look, you don't sign him for $6.5 million. You know that he's somewhere where contact is king. And he's only played, I think he's less than 20 postseason at bats with the Diamondbacks. He hasn't played well, but he's someone that gives you a different dynamic up and down that lineup that they sorely missed last year. So, of course, he's going to be on it, and you're going to need one of those guys to step up for a big moment. There's no doubt about it. But is a situation where this team's success or failure is going to be determined by their 1 through 6? Let's just be honest about it.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, let's just be honest about it.
Honestly, I would say 9 through 6.
Yeah, that works. So, like,
hey, I'm telling you, man, Miggy's going to come up clutch. All of a sudden,
Miggy Vargas?
Who? I'm all aboard the Miguel Rojas train these days myself.
He's been really.
He's locked in. He's locked in.
To get the Rosario side, Anthony Keene said Rosario is versatile, and Dodgers like options, of course. And then we got a question from Noah Ortega: is Rosario an older version of Vargas? Doug, you want to take that one?
No, I think that Vargas. I think they're very different players. I think that Vargas, his peak, there you go. His peak, his ceiling for sure is that he has a smoother swing, kind of, and look at Rosario's speed. I think Vargas has underrated speed. I think defensively, they're someone who they're going to hang their hat on what they do offensively. And you look at Rosario plays a premium position. So I don't see the similarities in those two and I think that Vargas, if everything clicks, he's going to have more balanced splits than a Rosario does. But still, I think it's exciting. I think it's intriguing when you look at the options they do have and look at what we have compared to this time last year, right? I mean, they've got
even
some
in
nice,
21. The last
even
2 years,
I mean,
it's been
these
were the best guys they had. Yeah, 21. The fact that
Billy
McKinney was a guy that started Major League postseason baseball games.
So bad.
Terrible.
I mean, there were some ugly times when like Luke Raley was in the lineup with Billy McKinney. I mean, he's playing well now. Luke Raley's playing really well now.
He went off.
Meaningful at bats. Yeah. I mean, it's unbelievable.
Like, I don't ever want to see Kike Hernandez bat and clean up again. We've lived through some tough times, and this might be one of the more complete rosters we have seen. So, really good spot. Tough questions for sure for this team, but it's good to have hard questions at this point in time. So, as we trend towards ending the show, we posted on the Twitter a few weeks ago, or I think it was last week, whenever the hell it was. But let's just have some fun. Let's make this a forum for all of us to open air talk about our biggest concerns for this team this October. Doug, do you have one concern that stands out for you the most?
I think it's two-pronged. I think one, are we going to get the Clayton Kershaw of old, or are we just getting old Clayton Kershaw, right? Are we going to get vintage Kersh, or are we going to get Kersh with a vintage arm? So I think that's the big key because, look, yes, the youth is great. Yes, you want to see Bobby Miller and the likes play up, but I think Clayton Kershaw still has to set the tone for this team. And if he goes out there and he pitches a clunker, I think just the morale of this team will be down. I'm hoping that Clayton Kershaw has himself a Kirk Gibson-like moment during this postseason run where he's someone that we know he's not at 100%. There's no doubt about that. He's going to empty the tank for this run, and I think he's going to give everything he has. But second is, will Bobby Miller be a Fernando Valenzuela? Will he be a Larry Sherry? Will he be something in between a Fernando Valenzuela and a 2018 Walker Buehler? How will these young studs, which they are studs, I mean, you saw the performance so far. We have a long enough, deep enough sample size to know that these guys, they deserve their role in the postseason. Yeah. So can they handle the bright lights? Because if they can early on, this is going to be a special postseason run. I'm telling you right now, I can envision a world where this offense just goes ham and just carries this pitching staff, and you see them rake their way to the World Series. And then we're talking about this rookie team with so many rookie contributors out of the pen, on the mound as starters. And then we're talking about a team that wasn't picked to win anything this season and goes on to win the World Series. Let's remember in 1988 that no one picked that Dodgers team to win the West Division. No one picked that team to beat the mighty Mets, like the great Tommy Lasorda said in the NLCS. No one picked them to beat that Goliath of an A's team. They ended up sweeping that A's team. So guys, surrender to baseball, but it's really going to come down to they don't need to be great. They don't need to be great. Like Seinfeld said, different than great and good. It's like,
that's a good impression.
You don't need great and you don't need great. You just need good. If we can get good, we can get solid. I have confidence in this lineup, and I'm so excited for these young guys where I think that this is a house money postseason where at the very least, we're going to see what we have in these guys. We're going to see what we need to do in the offseason. If Ryan Pepio shoves in the postseason, if Bobby Miller and Emmett Sheehan shove in the postseason, you got 3 of 5 in a rotation already.
And Buehler coming back.
You got Buehler come back. Gavin Stone had 10 punchies in the clincher for the PCL League. I mean, the future is bright for this Dodgers organization. I hate to do 6 degrees of Shohei Ohtani, but he's going to be at home on the couch watching this Dodgers team. And if he sees all of these young guys stepping up and playing well, that's a team I'm looking at. I'm saying, if I'm Shohei, wait a minute. I was with Mike Trout. We didn't have a winning season. That's not how you win in baseball. You win with depth, and the Dodgers have depth. And I think they have a chance to prove that this postseason.
And the Padres have learned that greatly, and the Giants for that matter. You need depth to win. My answer is also going to kind of cheat like Doug here a little bit and sort of say 2, but it's really going to be 1. See, there's a gang signs.
I don't know why I did that.
There's a gang signs. So my brain immediately went to Evan Phillips just because he's kind of on a down right now. And we've seen this team sort of lean and rely on the closer. And when it doesn't go well, you can't just let this sort of figure itself out when every game is so much more meaningful. Every game is magnified. But more so for me, it's the health. It's looking at somebody like this team cannot lose JD Martinez to another hip, groin, ass, whatever the hell, the lower body affliction that keeps happening to this guy. But it's health overall. You mentioned Kershaw. There are some older guys that sort of linger around, and you look at where this postseason could end up. There could be traveling, a lot of flights back and forth going across the country. World Series, you could end up in Minnesota where it's going to be cold as ass. It's two ass. Toronto, Tampa Bay, Baltimore. There's a lot of travel there, and then of course Atlanta, Philly is in the mix. If it is the Brewers, there's a Miami. There's a lot of travel, and it's not down the street travel. There's a lot of travel. We've seen Clayton Kershaw get himself hurt traveling. They need to put him like in a damn like Lazarus chamber or something like that. Vacuum seal Clayton Kershaw, vacuum seal JD Martinez to travel across the damn globe there or across the America as people call it. Just protect these dudes to the best of their abilities. And when you need to party, when you need to celebrate, don't be like Max Scherzer. Don't overdo it. Remember, you're old. Party a little bit. Worry about taking care of that body before you get in the plane.
To your point, Shelby Miller did get hurt traveling this year. His whole neck thing, that was stemming from him. I think he was on paternity leave. He quickly flew, and then he had a long car ride, and he was like, "Oh, my neck stiffened up," and all of a sudden he's on the 60-day IL.
Yeah, exactly. He was gone for a hot minute, and we've seen Kershaw complain about the beds in Colorado. Man, get this guy a Tempur-Pedic and in each stop or whatever the hell it is. Those beds where you cut it open and it's like poof.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's definitely...
Technically speaking.
I forgot who wrote the piece, but there's a really good article about how travel and sleep deprivation really has hurt athletes and this and that. Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, there definitely is something to it. But I will also point out, 1981, Blue Monday. They were in Montreal. It was the Expos.
They're
freezing.
All load up on meth, man.
Greenies.
Greenies. Sorry, Greenies. Not a sponsor.
But, yeah, no, look, I mean, but I really... You hit the nail on the head. You nailed it. I think that, Clint, you look at 2021, right? Muncy goes down. Last game of the season. Jace Peterson, terrible situation. I think Will Smith didn't do him any favors there, but still, he goes down. You lose Kershaw, leaves the mound holding the ball. We think that's the end of his career. You look at losing Justin Turner to the hamstring injury.
Scherzer.
Joe Kelly, Scherzer. I mean,
health falls off.
Sometimes it's who wins the attrition battle? I mean, who is the last man standing? Because we're talking about a 162-game season plus a long postseason run. And I think that's where the Dodgers do have the depth over a lot of organizations, is they do have depth in plays, but when those players start dropping like flies, then they're going to get into trouble. So, yeah, I think they're going to have to stay healthy. JD Martinez, if he went down early in the season, I think that would be crippling to this offense for sure. And you just want this team to, I think, make short order of some of these series, too. I mean, last year, like I said, they ran into a buzzsaw of the Padres. I think the Padres made a deal with the baseball gods, say, okay, I think that they just offered the Padres 2 World Series in the next 60 years. They said, no, we'll take that NLDS win against the Dodgers because we're petty like that. We're going to try to beat little brother once.
They won the NLDS. They won the offseason and they won FanFest. What more do you need?
There you got the trifecta right there.
Banners.
That's the treble. That's the treble.
Gas lamp crunchy. Let's ride.
Yeah, gas lamp crunchy. Yeah,
that's a lot of banners in there.
All right, so I know you're gonna have a butt ton of comments. I also want your opinion on this, and we have some Twitter folk because on Twitter it's all about the pitching. Notably, this was before this Colorado series. I'm pretty sure people by now feel a little bit better, but let us know what's going on in the chat.
The chat, honestly, not a lot of people talking about concerns.
That's just rude.
So, guys, drop it into the chat. What is your biggest concern for the Dodgers? We did get one here that I saw from
somebody.
I think it was Craig. Yeah, Craig Osterberg said, "Mine is, will Dodgers hit this postseason?" Obviously, we saw last year that is not what happened. There were a few kind of answers to what you guys were saying.
I like Matty Man 5 Dodgers. My dog loves greenies.
Johnny Owen kind of answers that, said Dodgers will match this postseason. Matty Man 5 Dodge put up kind of an answer to your Kershaw points. And I think the fact that Kersh has had to fight to win will help him this postseason. Yeah, he's been battling.
It's a good one.
And he's been absolutely battling with not his best stuff. A lot of people are saying preach D-Mac. For your point, Dave Luna posed the question, who performs better, Pepio or Miller? Doug, you want to give us a 15-second answer there?
Man, that was tough. I think I got to go with Bobby Miller, though. Bobby Miller's ready for this.
Yeah, he's had more time.
Big game, Bobby.
He's had more time this season to
Plus,
get ready.
Plus, he was your first interview at spring training.
Yeah.
So,
that's facts.
And he wants a lifelong goal. every little kid's goal is to pitch in the World Series. I'm just saying.
Michael Carrillo
right
said, my biggest concern is Dave Roberts' bonehead moves, which, yeah, I mean, that's always a factor. I mean, last year taking out Tyler Anderson. Whoa, jinx. Also, really.
You win.
Oh, my God.
Oh, my goodness.
Buddy, run through. Really quickly.
Going off?
We are going to Sizzler.
Brandon
Sizzler.
Brandon Chang said that's what's in for $199.
Let's go.
But as I was pushing that, we had another big one come in. Noel, go back.
I think you guys got to run without breaking everything.
Run through. MH Dodger for
Oh,
life.
he's back. Let's go.
Super chat for $99.99.
Push the music button.
I didn't mean to. He said, can you guys even, whatever. Postseason, here comes the blue wave, bring it Braves.
MH Dodger, appreciate the hell out of you. That's incredible. What a show. You give him another shoey now. No, don't.
No, but I'll give him another one of these.
Wait, what did he say?
Postseason, ... Here comes the blue wave, bring it Braves.
There we go.
Bring it on.
Bring it on.
Braves.
The blue wave is coming in Los Angeles.
A few folks here appreciate so very much appreciate the super chat, especially of that quantity. That means a whole hell of a lot to us.
We're getting dinner tonight, baby.
All through the postseason, we're eating, guys. Here we come, Doghouse in Pasadena. Before we get to yours, Noah, I'm going to get a few of the people that responded to the tweet. Insert name here said pitching, clutch hitting, and injuries. So the question was at the time 3 biggest concerns. So let's us cheat a little bit here. Mary. MERI says starting pitching. Again, this was before the kids kind of really had their opportunity to really prove themselves and then double prove themselves, which I think even though it was Colorado, there's enough meat there on the bone that they were able to adjust to pitching at Coors Field, leaning on the changeup to survive that awful cesspool. Beautiful park, but screw Coors Field, get rid of it. Matt said mentality. So a lot of people just had one and they're just repeating it. I say to you, Beetlejuice.
He is.
Yo! You want to make a deal? That's all I got right now. But yeah, for the most part, pitching. Jaime said we got some more Dave Roberts in there, and I think that is definitely a factor. You would hope after 7 seasons of trial and error and learning that all of the front office has kind of figured it out along.
He's going to get his steps in, man. He's going to get his steps in this postseason run with the way this pitching bullpen and roster is constructed. Best
bullpen. I've said it. I think this is the best bullpen they've had in years.
It's so good.
So good. With the
I
Ryans.
do think you're on something though. I mean, but I do think you're on something though. I mean, Evan Phillips this year compared to last year, he's not the same guy.
He's not.
More hits.
And right now,
that's going to be a big question.
Month, it's
been rocky.
To say the least.
It's been a little rocky.
No. Was that a bit?
I mean, they're in Colorado. So.
Did you hear him?
Did you hear what I said, Doug?
That was good. I like that.
Hey, so what is sentient voice? What is your
Before I get to mine, a quick comment. KS said Mookie going cold at the wrong time. That's his biggest concern. Also, I just posed a question on Twitter, and we got Matt Drury said bullpen, starting pitching, offense going cold, a.k.a. the usual postseason concerns. Kike31H said our offense not showing up. Michael Slow, I don't know how to say his last name, pitching. And then with a few Dave Roberts and a few of the Braves being a big concern.
Running into the Braves
because the Braves offense. Mine, it's definitely not the offense. I definitely trust out, like you said, 1 to 6, and I think we're going to have the veterans step up. Hayward, Peralta, Miggy Rowe. I kind of trust them all a lot. Kike even. So I would say it has to be on the pitching side, but I love the starting pitching right now. I really think Bobby Miller and Ryan Pepiot are going to shove. So my biggest concerns have to be the other 2 games, which is Kershaw, if that's Lance Lynn. I mean, we all love Kershaw, but that shoulder's not the same. He's been gutting through these 4 or 5 inning starts and 88 and 89 miles per hour. Like, it's concerning. And, you hope for Kershaw's sake that he can go out there and, just battle through 4 or 5 innings, give up 1 or 2 runs. But there's some big concern that a couple bad pitches turn into 2-run, 3-run home runs. And just like that, it's a really bad outing. So I think not starting pitching as a whole, because I very much like Bobby Miller and Pepiot, even though, of course, those are rookies, yet we don't really know what's going to happen. The Kershaw and Lance Lynn, home run problems for Lynn, obviously. That's a concern for me. And the bullpen, somewhat falling apart. I mean, last year falling apart is a strong word because the offense was the problem. But, you know, like the collapse that they had in the end of the games, you know, Vesia giving up, Almonte giving up, like Blake Treinen not pitching well. Like those are concerns. And
pitching in general.
Yeah, and pitching's going to be a concern. And I trust a lot of the guys, but also, I mean, bullpens are volatile. So it's definitely scary going into it not being 100% certain about your pitching.
There's a lot of ifs. There's a lot of questions. You brought them all up perfectly. And I think with Clayton Kershaw, he's someone who's not velocity reliant. He's someone that if the command's there, he's going to be effective. And I think that he's at peace with his role, too. I think he's fine going out there 4 or 5 innings tops. Like maybe Emmett Sheehan coming and piggyback with him. But I think there's much more consistency along this bullpen compared to last year. Sure. So many unknowns. A Yency Almonte, a Tommy Kahnle coming off Tommy John surgery, going on back-to-back days, and Alex Vesia missing his spot. I think you got guys with big boy stuff, too. You have Brusdar Graterol having the best year of his career. You have Joe Kelly throwing the best of his career. You got Evan Phillips, who I do think when the postseason arrives, get that extra adrenaline boost, extra lock-in. I think he's had a whole year to lock into that role. Shelby Miller, I think, is a big X factor that the national pundits won't mention. But he's a...
Let's say Ryan Brazier's been there.
I love Ryan Brazier.
Ryan Brazier's the
Ryan Yarbrough has pitched in these roles and all of the roles in the postseason.
You saw Yarbrough in 2020, right? I mean, Brazier's someone who has postseason experience too. That cutter just completely unlocked him. So this bullpen is in a good spot. It's just the rookies, if it clicks early on, if Bobby Miller goes out there in game one, I think he's going to be the game one starter. And I think it's going to be a Stars born. I think Bobby Miller is going to become a household name during this postseason. You're talking about someone who prides himself going deep into games, challenging hitters. The stuff is explosive. I said the other day on Twitter, if you're going to go into a lab and put on your lab coats and try to make an ace pitcher, it would be Bobby Miller. 6'5", 220, 5-pitch mix, high velocity. I mean, this is someone who has every single tool or skill set to be an elite ace. And I'm telling you, if he goes out there and he pitches well, this guy's going to be a star, a potential superstar. And Fernando Valenzuela, we saw what he did in 1981. We saw what Larry Sherry did 1959, Oral Hershiser. The pattern of this franchise is usually there's the one dude. It's the one dude that puts the team on his back and just absolutely shoves their way through the postseason. Bobby Miller has the talent to be that guy. Only question is, how will he handle it? If there's one concern you have is how does he deal with the moment? He talked about breathing, talking about just going for the next pitch. I always talk about what Greg Maddux said during his career. It's about what's important now, and it's about the next pitch and going out there and executing, not making the perfect pitch, making the good pitch. Now I'm starting to talk a lot because I'm starting to get nervous about the NLDS. So you guys can just go
really quickly on Bobby Miller, just like we were saying. I mean, we both want him as the game one starter. Last 9 starts, 7 innings, 6 innings, 5.2, 7, 7, 6, 6.1, 6, 6. I mean, this guy is
he's the only traditional starter.
He's the only one we got. I mean, Ryan Pepio's good. I mean, he's actually going deep into games.
Perfect for game 2. Hell yeah.
A game one starter, 6 innings from Bobby Miller is going to be so electric. Literally, it's going to be so electric at Dodger Stadium.
All I know
he's going
is
to break the catcher's hand. R.I.P. Will Smith's hand.
Is that we just learned here, everybody learned together that Doug is a real big fan of human cloning because he wants to clone Bobby Miller.
Big time. And I will say one more point on Bobby Miller is what impressed me most about that Rocky start was 6 of those 9 strikeouts came via that 4-seam fastball. That to me is the last box needs to check.
Yeah, he had
that's 2018 Buehler. Now I'm ready to talk Buehler and Miller. If you see 4-seam fastball up in the zone, challenging hitters, oh man, he's got that stuff. Slider better, change up his best pitch.
Better.
I saw it.
Okay, so I think I know what it's asking. Noah Ortega.
I think it's saying choose.
Yeah. Well, Noah Ortega, 199, posed a question. 9th inning, bases loaded, 2 outs, Dodgers up by 1, choose a pitcher. Let's just, I'm gonna take a step further. Let's just say it's like game 7 of a series. It's like you gotta win this game. Who do you want on the mound?
Now, is this getting out of
from a bullpen piece?
I mean, I'm assuming it's not going to be a starter. I don't think we're bringing Kershaw or Bobby Miller in.
No, there would not be.
I mean, Kershaw's definitely not coming
starter,
in.
It might be an Emmett Sheehan.
So let's just say obviously not any of Kershaw.
First name
easily Craig Kimbrell for me.
First name I had honestly was Shelby Miller.
Really?
Why? I don't know, but I had Shelby Miller in that.
I mean, he has an uncanny ability to freeze hitters, right? And
I will just say not Joe Kelly. Not Caleb Ferguson, not Alex Vesia. Those are the 3 I don't want.
It's an easy answer for me. I think on that big stage, Evan Phillips. I think Evan Phillips is going to time his peak right. And look, when you can, Brusdar is interesting, but the thing about Brusdar is the ball is going to be put in play, and you have a little more variance.
Wong at second base.
Okay.
No, I agree with Doug.
Look at game 2 last year. Myers hits that ground ball to Trey Turner. He bobbles it, and then Profar gets a hit a little later, and they score.
I mean, just saying.
I think
good at defense.
Yeah. Fair point. Fair point.
We learned.
But also, if it's later in the game, 9th inning, at that point, Rojas could have been pinch hit for someone, so you might not have him at shortstop. You know, I mean, there are things that could have happened. So
Fireman Phillips is built for this.
I agree because he's going to get the strikeout more than. I mean, maybe Ryan Brazier, you could say too.
And the thing about Phillips is the sweeper, the cutter. I mean, he's someone who can induce soft contact and get swing and miss, so he gives you that dimension as well.
Yeah.
Honey bun.
I mean, it's a great question, no or take. Also,
appreciate it.
I mean, just hit the. Okay, there we go. So Jose Ayala, $5 super chat. I was waiting to see if Jose would have something to say, and there it came. Sorry, guys, didn't post my question. Question was, do you guys see a rotation of Buehler, Miller, Pepio, Grove, Emmett? I'm guessing for next year. So he said Buehler, Miller, Pepio, Grove, Emmett as his potential rotation next year. What do you guys think about that?
I would say yes, but I would say that would mean that there was probably a veteran somewhere that's on the IL at that point, because they are not going into next season with the all youth rotation plus Walker.
They'll be out there looking for
Grove
guys.
Is definitely probably the odd man out there, in my opinion.
They hit 1 year on Tyler Anderson, then they busted the next year with Noah Syndergaard. Hopefully, they get back to the trending the right direction.
I mean, Lance Lynn has an option.
Lance Lynn does have an option. I don't think they'll probably go that route. I think he's very affordable on a 1 year deal for sure. If you think he can give you 160, 200 innings, I mean, a lot of teams are going to jump at that opportunity. So I wouldn't say that it's not possible. I think it's definitely more than a 1% chance, right? But yeah, I think a lot of that's going to hinge on how they perform in the postseason, because if they have success in the postseason, it'll be undeniable. There's no way you could go away from an Emmett Sheehan or a Pepio. We know Bobby Miller, is no doubt about it, that he's going to start. And I also think, I don't know if I heard Gavin Stone's name mentioned in there. I think sometimes with change-up pitchers, it takes a little longer, right? 1 or 2 years. I think next year, maybe the light turns on for Gavin Stone. They kind of go back to that as an option. And let's see what they do in the offseason. But I'm with you. When you got a roster of Freddie Freeman and Mookie Betts and some of these veterans, you're not going to put all that on a bunch of rookies and second-year players. And Buehler's going to come back second TJ. Hopefully he has a Nathan Eovaldi-like success rate. But it's going to be dependent on what they do in the offseason. We'll see. If you get Shohei Ohtani, you don't even need good pitchers. I mean,
but it's definitely an embarrassment of pitchers right now for the Dodgers.
An embarrassment of pitches.
Get it right. It's a shirt. But it's pitchers. Yeah, but that doesn't sound as good.
I know. I don't care.
The important thing is, first, let's worry about the now. Let's worry about bringing home a piece of metal and celebrating, finally, a parade in Los Angeles. It has been far too long. What are we at? 35
I want a parade
years
inside
now?
my city.
There it is. Guys, we appreciate you for hanging out with us. Thank you so much for the super chats, for the comments, for hanging out with us, for what are we at? 116 hours of Dodgers Nation Blue Heaven show.
Stay
whatever
tuned
we're
for the second
it.
half of the show.
Doug would keep going. Doug would riff for 17 hours. Anything to get him not going home. Find us on the internet, DodgersNation.com. Go to InsideTheDodgers.com. We got you covered 29/8 on all the things you need involving your Los Angeles Dodgers. Subscribe to Blue Heaven. We are on the iTunes. We're a podcast on the Spotify. We're a podcast on, we're on Pandora. Everywhere you need your podcast, we live there. Subscribe here, youtube.com/Dodgers Nation TV. Hit the bell, leave a like. You got to comment on everything you've ever seen in the history, and it really helps boost the channel up in the YouTube algorithms, because we are at the mercy of a soulless robot. I am Real FRG on Twitter and Instagram. That is DMAC_LA at Twitter and Instagram. The man over there putting his headphones away, that was at Noah Cameras on the Twitter or the X. Thank you for all the comments. Thank you for the questions again. We will see you on Monday. Bye.